Hello everybody, welcome back. It is Conor here. We're back with your instant match reaction. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to a record amount of people watching live on the Watching Along Together show that we've just done. 30,000 and above subscribers now on the Leeds Fan Channel, which is nothing short of mental. I'd like to say a record number as well of Patreon members at this moment in time, which is fantastic. Really appreciate that. And for the first time ever, we've got YouTube memberships open as well, and we've hit over 100 members on there as well. So thank you so much for your continued support. And you guys are all rewarded with videos and extra things and extra bits and bats, which hopefully you're enjoying. And as I say, I'm going to continue doing that. You've also got some merchandise in the section below. Somerville, Strauch, and Firpo. We've sold quite a few batches of the mugs and the mats and the hoodies as well so far. So thank you so much for that. Make sure you click on the link in the description below. But why are you here, Conor? Well, I am here to discuss Leeds United's win over Cardiff City. A very, very nice win, and a win which saw Leeds United dominate. Everything barring probably a 5, maybe to 8 minute period of which Leeds were a little bit under the cosh. But aside from that, you're looking at 82 minutes of dominance from the Whites, from the Peacocks, who leave Wales with all 3 points and as well 3 goals in the bag. Marred a little bit by a Crescencio Somerville missed penalty, of which if Pascal Strauch had been part of proceedings, I bet he'd have probably took ownership of it and rolled it in the bottom corner, a la Preston, but he wasn't available. But getting on to Pascal Strauch, I thought his sort of replacement for this game in Ethan Ampadu was exemplary. I thought he was outstanding. What I didn't realise, and I will come on this stream and say, wow, I didn't know that about Ethan Ampadu, is maybe, just maybe, Daniel Farke got this one absolutely spot on. And let me tell you why. I would argue that Charlie Cresswell should have been in this squad, just on the balance that Leeds didn't have any centre-backs outside of Joe Rodon in the squad. However, what I will say is what I loved was the centre-back balance. And let me just elaborate on what I mean by that. Pascal Strauch is a left-footed centre-back. What I saw in that game was Ethan Ampadu utilising his left foot arguably more effectively than his right foot, which showed me that he can use his left foot probably as well as his right foot, which I had no idea on, because you don't really see that tendency from Ethan Ampadu in the central midfield capacity. He gets the ball on his right foot, opens his body up and sees the ball on that right-hand side. In this particular game, Joe Rodon was passing the ball and he was opening his body up onto his left foot and clipping the ball down into the channel towards Patrick Bamford, which was a part of Ethan Ampadu's game that I haven't seen before. But it shows really that when you're looking at a Charlie Cresswell as a comparative, Charlie Cresswell, in my opinion, wouldn't be able to utilise that left-hand side of the centre-back partnership as well as Ethan Ampadu did in this particular game, and probably as well as Ethan Ampadu can do overall. So strategically, tactically, methodically, that worked. And shout out to Daniel Farke if that is exactly what he meant to do, because I think the balance of both of the centre-backs worked very, very well. And yeah, Cardiff didn't test them that much, but I think a lot of it was because of Leeds United's dominance in possession. It was Leeds United's dominance in using attack as the best form of defence. Cardiff were just simply not able to cope with the Whites just jet setting forward really and using every component in our arsenal to break down any sort of midfield and defensive capability they had. Leeds were attacking them through the central spaces. They were attacking them out wide. They were fluid. They were dynamic. They were interchanging. And Leeds were just excellent in many areas of that game. And if I'm talking about away performances, I'm looking at Leicester City. Has been a nigh on complete performance, but I think in terms of obviously goals, in terms of dominance overall, in terms of keeping possession, in terms of allowing the opposition to get into our half, I think this was Leeds United's most complete away performance of the season at the right time. We needed this. One of our generals, one of our proactive players in terms of ball progression in the defensive capacity in Pascal Strauch was out of this game. We had one of our best midfielders, the general in that midfield capacity, going to centre-back, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, Leeds are depleted here in this centre-back region. Obviously, Pascal Strauch been out of the side. And Leeds just didn't look affected. Gruev came in. I thought he was being progressive. You know, I've come in a lot of times and said about Gruev that I'm not massively enamoured with how he just passes it side to side and backwards. I need to see more progressive passes from someone who obviously has a lovely left foot and has the capability to open their body up and spread the play quickly. For me, handbrake on, safety on with Gruev a lot of the time, and we've not seen enough of him. Stoke, Preston, among other times. However, in this game, he was opening his body up and he was using that left foot, and I love that. And what you saw today is even if Ethan Ampadu is out of this side, Gruev can come in and play to a really good level, which sort of compensates for a lot of what we would lose with Ampadu. Another man of the match performance for me in this game was Ethan Ampadu. Was Glenn Kamara. I thought Glenn Kamara was exceptional. Those little checks he does, the ball's coming into him, he'll roll it back and check back the same way. And it always sees defenders off balance. Really good movement that he consistently does, and teams don't seem to pick up on it. Once again, you saw the ball through to Somerville, the little check to Somerville. Somerville rolls it under the goalkeeper and the centre-back McGuinness. Dan James is there to tuck it away, but that was a forward pass. What I liked about Glenn Kamara in this game was he's been a little bit more progressive, similarly to Gruev. Now, when we are more proactive in that midfield, when we're more proactive, when we're looking forward instead of sideways and backwards all the time, when we're being aggressive on the ball, that is when Leeds are at their absolute best. That's what we've been crying out for against teams like Sunderland, Coventry, Rotherham. When it's not been good enough, it's because I think a lot of the breakdowns have been in that mid-block from the opposition teams against us. Leeds being easy to play against, predictable, but today wasn't the case because they couldn't get close to us. Anytime they tried close Gruev down, the ball had moved. Anytime they tried to close Kamara down, the ball had gone forward and they were worrying about Crescencio, Somerville, Rutter and Bamford ahead of them. So that was the beauty of it. When Leeds move the ball quicker, when we move it more effectively and efficiently in that offensive third, teams cannot cope with us. And we've seen that with a lot of teams this season who've struggled. You know, I remember us doing that so effectively in the Huddersfield game, especially in that first half. They just couldn't get near us. Leicester City at points, moving the ball quickly, you know, dragging them out of position. The problem is when Leeds keep a hold of the ball for too long, the opposition is able to congest. They're able to utilise a mid-block, a low block, and refigure what's going on. And that's when Leeds suffer. But what I will talk about today is the movement of Patrick Bamford again. Now, instinctively, I was mentioning this on the watch along. Instinctively, he's excellent. And he's always been good at this level. Instinctively. Please contextualise what I'm saying for those who just come in for a fleeting second and take away what I'm saying and get the wrong narrative. Instinctively, he's excellent. When he's got time to think, that is when Patrick Bamford is extremely poor, in my opinion. And it balances the equilibrium of Patrick Bamford instinctively and when he's got time out to be an average championship footballer. Now, as of this moment in time, what we are seeing with Patrick Bamford is we are seeing him on the last man. I keep saying this, but between the two centre-backs, running the channel balls, running that channel when the balls are coming over, clipped by Firpo, clipped by Somerville, you know, even when it's clipped by Archie Gray, clipped by Dan James, he's always an option. He has those number 9 tendencies, some of which Joel Perreault just doesn't have whatsoever. And naturally, when you see Perreault occupy those 9.5, 10 positions, that is where he likes to play. But unfortunately, when you've got an unbelievable operator in Jorginho Rutter, who has the capabilities of a top flight player in any league, you're always going to favour Jorginho Rutter over Joel Perreault in that 10, 9.5 region. So overall, I'm absolutely ecstatic with what I saw today. I really am. And Patrick Bamford up front leading that line stretches. It gets Leeds up the pitch. And as I was saying today, everybody, Ethan Ampadu playing that clip ball over the top left foot. Joe Rodon, for the first time in so many games, in many games this season, I think this was the first time where we'd actually seen Joe Rodon do what Pascal does. And that's where Joe's had to learn off Pascal. Pascal loves playing those clip balls. He's so proactive in getting Leeds up the field. Joe Rodon was doing that so much more in this game, which I absolutely loved. And it hits Bamford. You've got to be accurate with those balls. But when it hits Bamford, The second balls were being won by Dan James, by Archie Gray, by Crescencio Somerville, and they were getting up as a unit around Patrick Bamford. This is what I've been saying for weeks. Clip past that press, because they were playing with a mid-block. They were trying to hit Leeds at points with a mid-block. Just getting in that middle phase and stretching out and pressing a little bit on Crescencio Somerville. We've seen Sunderland, we've seen Stoke do the exact same thing. But Leeds started enacting a bypass. Bypass the press, hit Patrick Bamford, they don't know what to do. Turning round, oh God, they've got players counter-attacking now. Somerville, you can have Nonto on the pitch, Anthony, all crowding round you. We've got so many players offensively who are so dangerous. Even when you take into account our midfielders, if they're getting high up the pitch in someone like Glenn Kamara, he can be effective in those positions, as we've seen today. So that clip ball was working every single time. Once again, Pat Bamford instinctively, for that first one, knocked it in, 1-0 Leeds United. The second goal was a bit scrappy, has to be said, but the third goal was on the counter-attack, and yeah, Leeds were blistering towards the end, and the Crease Somerville penalty was a bit of a mishap on his sheet. I thought he was poor today. I didn't think, when I say poor, that's poor by Crease Somerville's levels, which is, still probably 5.56 out of 10. He got an assist, didn't he? So, and was a constant thorn in the opposition's arse. So, overall, Rutter, I thought even in the game wasn't great. But, once again, Rutter was a big part of everything going forward. But I didn't think he was at his very best. But Glenn Kamara, Archie Gray, Firpo, and then you're looking at it towards the end, and Firpo, according to several sources, when I was just literally watching the game, he's hobbling off and he's grimacing on his face and he's walking off gingerly. Now, after this has been said and we listened to his press conference and all this sort of stuff, hopefully he was absolutely fine. But once again, he's hobbling off. And I get excited about Firpo. I'm watching Firpo in that performance and I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm thinking, every single time I'm picking him over Sam Byram, just literally because he's a left back, because he can open his body, because he can close his body, because it's more natural for him on that left hand side than it is an Archie Gray, a Sam Byram, a Jed Spence, any of those players. A natural left back on the left hand side, it's going to be easy for him. So when he's darting forward, when he's defensively shaping up, it's easier for a left-sided player to defend at left back and on that left-hand side in general. So I'm looking at Firpo today and I thought he was excellent. I thought he was absolutely excellent. Against one of the top operators in that Cardiff City side, Bowler, who gave us problems at Ellen Road. Believe he scored. Firpo had him in his back pocket. He was brilliant against him. But what did we see at the end again? Junior Firpo looking like he was hobbling off a little bit. So this is why everybody, when we're talking Bamford, when we're talking Byron, when we're talking about Firpo, data, trends, patterns, these players who form goes in and out, injuries in and out, it's difficult to get too excited about it. It's difficult to get enamoured about it. That's why I still look and call for a dependable, a reliable striker that mirrors Patrick Bamford's attributes, but can give even more and can give something in the Premier League. That's why I talk about potentially Bamford still being sold on in this window, which I don't think will happen. But when I talk about it realistically, it's because I'm thinking injuries again. I'm thinking 31 years of age very, very soon. I'm not saying drop him now. I'd be keeping him in. His confidence is brimming at the minute. Strategically, he's given us so much more than Perot. But I'm talking long term. With another striker coming in, I think Leeds have still got to be looking in that department. For me, 100%. And I think the number 10 now, you're seeing it work out. You're seeing it, it work itself out in having Rutter there and having a Perot come off the bench and potentially occupying that role. You're seeing that work itself out now, but the number 9 is still a problem place for me because we're still looking at it. And whatever anybody says, we have one number 9 at the club. We spent 16 million on a 9.5/10. That's what we spent our money on. So, yeah, overall, really, really good today. Really happy with what I saw as well. And the problem is you're getting Southampton winning all the time. That's 19 unbeaten for them. But we've also got something right now where you've got Sunderland coming up against Ipswich Town. Listen, you guys might watch this on Sunday. You might watch this late Saturday night. You might watch this at the end of the Ipswich game and think, they buckled. But Sunderland's going to be a tough game for them. So if they come through that, fair play to them. But it is looking at a scenario now where Leeds, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton are just going to have to take points off each other because it feels like generally, I know Leicester lost today, but generally not many teams are taking points off that top three. You know, I know Leeds are included in that, and we've been a little bit jittery when it's come to our form. But overall, when you look at the quality of the teams, those top four teams are just so far ahead. So far ahead. And when those four teams are 7, 8 out of 10s, especially the three teams in Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds United, especially when those teams are 7, 7.5 out of 10, they're just going to win every single game. But we haven't. We've been below that. So we need to maintain that standard. We've got some excellent home games coming up. We've not got many tough away games coming up anymore, in my opinion, when you're looking at that top half of the table. So, yeah, let me get a couple of Ipswich are getting battered. Who's Simon Jordan? That's Ted Lasso, says the Grudinator. For us who live in this area surrounded by Cardiff City fans, it's a great result. Yeah, shout out to all the Welsh subscribers. I thought Firpo was on it today, says Daniel Jackson. I've not always been convinced, and you can't be convinced by him, mate. Don't go away from this fella and say, "Oh, I've been wrong about Firpo." I certainly won't, because I need to see it consistently from Junior Firpo. I want to see 10 games where Junior Firpo is performing well, is available, and is proving all of us wrong. I'm not doing the whole Twitter, Instagram reactionary stuff today where now he's Furberto Carlos. He's never been that. It's been a joke, you know. His time at Leeds is just nowhere. It's not been good enough. It's been marred by injury and dreadful positional awareness and poor form. So he needs to prove it to Leeds fans that he's available, he's readily dependable, and also he's going to be good enough to be starting week in, week out and putting performances week in, week out. That leads Leeds to not go and get a left back, which I don't know if we're even going to do in this window. Joe Rodon, should our next signing be Joe? Is this possible? How much would he cost? Yeah, he should be. He should be someone who we should be targeting, of course. And I think this window is definitely a real opportunity for Leeds to do so. A real opportunity for Leeds to do so. So I'd like to see that. I'd love to see Joe. A permanent signing, a permanent fixture at Ellen Road. I think that's something we all want to we need to go back to. Paul says, Conor, you're right about Bamford and Perot. Also, my missus said you need to revert back to your old hairdo if you want to get on a laminate list. Yeah, you can blame my missus for that, mate. Apparently she likes it down. 4-0 Saints, says Mark Smithson. Yeah. Hi, Conor. Great performance today. With a banana skin team, with both Leeds and Southampton winning today and both linked to Ben Johnson. Do you think Leeds stand a good chance of signing? Yeah, Mike, we stand a good chance of signing anyone. But Southampton are also a big club. They're also a team who can right now pose a bit more of a threat than Leeds. You know, they're in the top two. They're 19 unbeaten. They've probably got more Premier League pedigree in the collective of their squad. And right now they could be a proposition where you're looking at them and thinking they're going to get Premier League football via the automatic promotions, better than quicker than Leeds are. So yeah, Southampton are an attractive proposition. Obviously, its location is massive as well. Obviously, Southampton is going to be closer to London, where Ben's playing now. So it's all dependent on several different things, mate. Just need Ipswich to lose in its game on. Yeah, it is. Well, this is one of those games. One of those games where Leeds, we need to start seeing. We need to start seeing Leeds picking up a little bit of an advantage here on Leicester. Rutter for England. Big Kev said Kamara did well. Yeah, shout out Big Kev. Con Hayel. I'll tell you what, Joe. I was telling people, mate, I'm 6'1". I was with Joe not long ago. Joe, validate in the comment section that I'm 6'1", mate. There we go. I was at a game with Joe recently. You tell him, Joe. You tell him. He can do me in here, to be fair, Joe. He can just tell everyone I'm 5'7". Patrick Bamford scores again. Nah. Joel Pro is not a 9. Nah. Yes, Aiden, completely agree. Ellen Rhodes, a proper ground, but needs a lick of paint, says Sky Blues. Yeah, great result for you boys today. But yes, it does need a lick of paint. You're not wrong there. Hi, Jay. Part of the memberships. Afternoon, Conor. Good result away from home. Gruev was my man of the match today. A professional performance. Should have scored more, but a clean sheet and another 3 goals. I can't complain. Exactly, Jay. Should have been 5, 6, 7. Let's be brutally honest. Kev, I think marching on together. I think that's Joe's dad. Joe, there you go. Was it a game with him recently? I think Paul's the one who's hammering me in the chat. There you go, Paul. Get that chin up, lad. Shout out, Joe. So yeah, we love you from Niagara, Canada. Oh, Canada was going on about it in the watch along. I just need to get out there at some point. I need an excuse. I need proof. Listen, you've got someone who was there with me, mate. Someone who's there with me. So there we go. Maybe your dad can get in there as well, Joe. Who knows? And let us know. Back to back 3-0s. Well, it's been 3-3-0s, hasn't it, Tenacious G? Still want to sell Bam Bam Conor. I don't know what to say really, Andrew. Do you want to sell Bam Bam? It's a difficult question. I think I've said this multiple times, but people still are confused. Which maybe it's me not being clear. But as I've said, at this moment in time, I'd be keeping him in the starting 11. Patrick Bamford is approaching 31 years of age. Is he a long-term plan for Leeds? No. Do Leeds need to be renovating that side and being ruthless? Yes, as we've seen with Luke Ayling, we will see with Liam Cooper, etc., etc. Do I think Pat Bamford is going to go on a goal-scoring run towards the end of the season? No. Do I think Pat Bamford is going to stay injury-free towards the end of the season? No. But I could be wrong. I just go on patterns and trends when it comes to Patrick Bamford. Will Patrick Bamford ever be the same Patrick Bamford as he was in that Premier League season? I don't think so. That would be a complete rarity in terms of a player who's nearly past it, getting back to where they once were. If a player became available who could be Leeds' number 9 going forward, who replicated a lot of the same attributes and was able to bring a lot more attributes to the party, and Leeds were able to spend some good money on him and they were opportunistic, then I would welcome that. But as of right now, with Patrick Bamford, with the situation we are in terms of Leeds United and the position we're in, and probably we're not going to go out and get a number 9. Who am I choosing as my number 9? Bamford or Perot? It is Bamford. Hopefully that clears it up. I don't really know how else to say it, but I keep getting these comments. And that's as clear as I can make it, to be honest with you. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. But yeah, Archie Gray, my man of the match, he was very good, mate. Evening, Conor. Kev, there you go, mate. There you go. Getting more confident now. Let's have a look. Only joined the stream. Thought on the late subs. Okay. Yes, thank you, Ethan. And this is going to be something that I'm just going to... I feel like I need to just say this because it's me and I'm going to try to be as transparent as I can. I said at the start of the stream, and listen, we've just won the game, but I want to be real with you guys. I did not like how Daniel Farke dealt with the Cresswell situation at all. Mentioned it on the start of the stream, and I didn't like what he did. I think Cresswell has been part of this setup for a while. Richard gets his hair cut, well, when I used to live in York, very close in and around the area. And I'm not just going to come on here, like I know many other content creators will do, and just blow smoke up Daniel Farke's arse. Listen, you get something different with me, you always will do. I don't like how he treated Cresswell in the week. I don't think as a manager, you should come out and do that. Personally, that is how I don't think you should go about it like that. He's come out and really, he's asked Leeds fans to read between the lines, but he's questioned his mentality, his focus, and for me, his character. I don't think he should have done that. So I want to address that first of all, because I've seen a couple of you guys putting that in the comment section below during the watch along, post-game and obviously pre-game as well. I didn't agree with what he did there. I think Charlie's never going to be able to come back and say something. He's a Leeds fan. His dad loves the club. His family loves the club. Charlie loves the club. And now Leeds fans are turning around questioning his attitude, which I think, I'll be brutally honest with you, is a load of bollocks. That's how I feel about it. But it is what it is. I just think right now there's no need to do that with Charlie. And Charlie's evidently going to be sold. He's not going to be able to regain any trust with the Leeds fans because he's never going to be played. Doesn't look like he's going to be in the squad. And he never strikes me as a character, Charlie. His family, everything. Richard, how he speaks about Leeds when he's getting his hair cut and how the family speak about Leeds. They're massive fans of the club. Massive, they've got huge connections with the club. And a manager's come in, he's said this, that, and the other about him, and suddenly now you're getting Leeds fans saying, his attitude. There's never been an attitude problem with Charlie Cresswell, and it just irritates me that a young lad has almost, in my opinion, been gaslighted. And it is what it is now. So he's probably going to leave Leeds. Do I think he's good enough? I don't know. I've no idea. He's never been given the chance. So I want to address that as period 1 when it comes to Farke. Period 2, he got the result today. Got the result. Fantastic. Leeds played really, really well. Credit to Daniel Farke for getting the Ampadu sub at the back right. We had an excellent balance. And Archie was superb. We're in the midst of Jed Spence leaving, the quality right back that I think he is leaving, now playing Serie A with Genoa. However, his Archie Gray has been impeccable in that game. One of his best performances for Leeds United. So Archie, brilliant. Vindicated Daniel Farke again. I didn't expect Archie to be poor, but he was excellent. Absolutely excellent. And Leeds fans are going to be turning around now saying, do we really need a right back? Because Ben Johnson's going to come in and find the same problem with Archie Gray, because I think Daniel Farke is going to be the exact same. He's probably going to keep Archie Gray there, and Ben Johnson will have to, if he does come into Leeds, will have to feel his way into it. I think it's going to be a similar picture. The substitutes today, another thing that I wanted to discuss. I just don't understand why, when you're looking at Daniel Farke, he is bringing Willie Gnonto on for a minute. I think when you're trying to manage a player, and there's massive links right now, which are followed up, and it looks like West Ham potentially might come in for Gnonto, especially if there's a Leeds United approach for Ben Johnson. There could be a deal done that way. I just think maybe Leeds are readying up Willie Gnonto to leave the club. But what I will say is, if Leeds aren't readying Willie Gnonto to leave the club, and he's going to be part of things going forward, for a player in his position, for a player of his quality, for a player who wants more minutes, don't bring him on for 1 minute. I get it with Shackleton, but just put Joseph on for a minute. For me, just put, and you guys might disagree, it's fine, just let's not get abusive with it. But do not, in my opinion, bring one of your prized assets on for 1 minute. I just think that's wrong. I think you bring one of the young lads on, they're not going to be bothered. Shackleton looked buzzing to come on anyway. He probably can't believe he's still in the Leeds United shirt. Joseph would have been buzzing to come on for 2 or 3 minutes or whatever. Well, he wouldn't have been buzzing, but he'd have come on, whatever. It is what it is. The young players do what they do, don't they? I think that with Willie Gnonto and Jayden Anthony for 4 minutes? And Perot for 4 minutes? But Willie Gnonto in particular, I'm just looking at it and thinking, it's just not good management for me. Man management of a player who we're all a little bit like, what's going on with him there? So yeah, as I say, yeah, shout out Joe. Let me know, bud. As I say, buzzing with the performance, buzzing with everything that's happened today. I think we were excellent. Credit to Daniel Farke. Credit to the players who I thought were excellent today. As I say, one of the best performances of the season. Should have been 6, should have been 7. Southampton won, Leicester lost, and let's hope now we're looking at a scenario where Sunderland also beat Ipswich. Sunderland's away form, which is good. They really, really gave Leicester a run for the money when they played one of the top 4 last time out away from home. They were really, really good before we went there. Should have got more from the game. Let's hope Jack Clark, Dan Neil and co turn up for this one, because this could be a big turning point right now. We need a little bit of luck to go our way. But guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate a lot of your support in this one. But yeah, thank you so much. As I say, you can watch this on the replay. We'll be going over and doing the player ratings now on the Patreon. We'll have some bonus content out for you tomorrow as well. We'll have 3 things that we learned about the game today out tomorrow morning for you guys ASAP. We're going to have bonus bits for the members as well. You can join the membership in the link in the description below. Guys, if you haven't watched this, go watch the best bits of the watch long as well. I'll get them in the description. But thank you so much for your support as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.